I'm excited for this. This is going to be fun. Anybody want to pray?
I want to pray that this bowl gets out of the shot.
All right, well.
But isn't that the Super Bowl?
Wait, it's
I'm
called
glad that we just got that on camera.
the Super Bowl? I thought this was the Superb Owl.
Who?
That's what I'm talking about. You got to get that bowl out of here, though.
For the Super Bowl?
No, get your bowl out of here, Jake. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of your bowl.
Yeah, no 420 around here.
I was going to say something like that. Dang it, why are we on the same page today? We have to have different things to say.
This is going to be fun. Our filters are off. Oh, this is going to be a good time.
Pop Bears beats Battlestar.
Stay on target.
You can't handle the truth.
Stay on target.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
With great power comes great responsibility.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
You know what time it is, boys?
Time to celebrate the Chiefs' victory.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I thought it was time to do a podcast.
No. I mean, yes, but no.
Yes, but also no.
Give me the applause a little bit. That's right.
Yay!
That's right. Woo! We did it. I didn't do anything, but we did it.
Yeah, recorded by a
The
live
Chiefs
studio
won
audience.
again. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. Listen, you got to fight for your right to party. Woo! Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. I am so amped right now. I have no script. I have no outline. I am
no
flying
chill.
by the seat of my pants right now. I am jacked up on sugar, boys.
I can confirm.
I had like
watched.
6 Rice Krispie treats and at least 3 sodas. I just downed a whole bunch of water to try to even out things a little bit, but it's not working. I'm kind of twitchy right now. I am so pumped. The Chiefs won again. I can't believe it. No, don't hit that. Yeah. There you go. No crickets today. Woo!
Unless
Well,
you're Santa Fe.
San Francisco?
Dang it! There's an S and an F, okay? I don't watch sports.
Yeah, hit it. Nice. There we go. Welcome to Pop Culture Redemption, everyone. My name is Connor.
My name's not football following Jacob.
I'm Jordan Summers, and I didn't get a touchdown today, but I did get to touch grass. It was a wonderful experience.
Wonderful. What kind of grass?
The kind of grass that grows out on people's lawns.
Fair enough.
Clearly, these two don't understand what that means.
I am
don't.
very lost.
When someone says touch grass online, it usually happens to like Twitch streamers or YouTube comments or something. People say touch grass as a way of saying go outside because it's clearly something that you never do.
Go out there and just play in the yard. Just go out there and play in the yard.
Leave your house. Experience the real world.
You should leave your house so that you can show others your awesome pop culture redemption merch.
You just self-plug our merch
all
right
the
off the
time.
bat.
All the time.
Jacob's like, we got long
Speaking
sleeve
of which,
t-shirts now.
yes, we have long sleeve t-shirts now, thanks to my dad at making the request. We also have hoodies and crew necks and t-shirts and V-necks for the worship leader on the go. We have tons of stuff. Well, I mean, that's really it, but
all the stuff.
We have at least that stuff.
That's right.
And youth tees and youth hoodies and more.
You can't forget the Utes.
Because you can't spell youth or youth without a T.
Actually, bonfire.com/popcr store.
There you go. It's probably in the show notes. Again, welcome to the podcast. We are recording this after the Super Bowl. So this is Sunday night. That's like 11 p.m. right now.
So late.
So we are wired. And
we is a bold term.
Are going to dive into the Super Bowl commercials today. But first, we had a very interesting question posed to our show to start. Actually, not to start, before we started recording. That was, what's your favorite Super Bowl snack?
Like that we had this time, or
no,
like
just in general.
all time?
All
pizza
time.
rolls, pizza rolls, pizza rolls, pizza rolls. Easy.
Somebody did
not
bring,
even a question for
somebody
me.
did
Pizza
bring
rolls.
homemade pizza rolls to our Super Bowl party, and it was the best. We also had a snack competition, so people really brought their A game. Like I I brought our bacon wrapped onion rings, and I went all out for this. That I made them yesterday, chilled them overnight, and reheated them in the oven right before the party. They were delicious.
Excellent. So Jordan, what are your favorite kind of pizza rolls?
Either meat, I'm going to say either meat lovers or pepperoni.
I didn't even know there was options. I just grab whatever I see first.
It only comes with lava fire. That's the only option.
I'm not patient enough to actually taste the pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls are only lava fire. They're either cold or they're lava fire.
That's their only flavors.
Yes. I say mine. I made Little Smokies because I just feel like nothing says football like Little Smokies. I don't know if it's my favorite snack, but
You can't have a Super Bowl party without
That's what
them.
I'm saying. Like it's a must.
It's like a Thanksgiving without stuffing
yeah.
or croissants.
That's right.
We've been over this.
You gotta have it. Jordan, were you saying something else?
I was going to say something, but I don't remember what it was.
Sorry about
it was
that.
something
Can we
else.
also
Okay, it was-
throw in like chips and queso into the mix?
I mean, yeah. You can if you want.
Because that's another classic.
I'd just be like, no, you cannot add
Okay.
chips and queso to the mix. I'm feeling too spicy right now. I'm sorry.
Well, it's good because that makes good queso.
I remember what I was going to ask. What is your favorite way, or maybe what is the best way to cook pizza rolls? Because there's a lot of ways. You
Microwave. It's the fastest way.
I got to go oven, man.
Dude, if I'm eating pizza rolls, it's because I want food in my mouth as quickly as possible.
All right. I'm gonna throw in a
no.
different option for
Hit
both
me.
of you. Freaking air fryer.
Oh,
Dude, yeah, actually, I'm with you.
I'm still getting used to the air fryer. Like I always forget it's on the block. You know, like it's this new kid on the block. I'm always like, oh yeah, I guess that person lives down there. And they're like, yeah, this kid's actually the coolest kid on the block now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Like-
that kid has all of the consoles. You used to go to
Okay.
Jimmy's house for Nintendo. This kid has Nintendo and Xbox and PlayStation, and you're like, dude.
But like, let me learn you something awesome because they now have a microwave air fryer combo.
I have seen this. Yeah,
It's beautiful, is what it is.
I'm not sure if I'm more like enamored by its beauty. Oh, what's that Halo quote? Were you when you saw Halo, were you stunned by its majesty or something like that? I don't know if it's that or if it's
Halo.
But the time has come to throw your halo down. We will never live. That's a horrible song. Don't listen.
What?
It's a Slash song.
Oh,
It's one
okay.
of the Slash songs, and I'm like, don't like the lyrics of this.
Was it from Halo Season 1?
Did you see the trailer for Halo Season 2?
Absolutely did.
Jordan has
No comment.
Jordan has no opinions on the Halo series.
I feel like Jordan is so what's the word I'm looking for? Dissatisfied or maybe even borderline angry that he has no words right now.
You know, the Bible talks about this. Sometimes that we don't know what to pray, so the Holy Spirit speaks in us through wordless groans.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine for a moment you have a child, and you're proud of this child, and you love this child, and then somebody takes that child and
Where is this?
turns them into the Halo series by Paramount. That's how I feel right now.
All right, let's bring this back around a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna do a little looser format today. Still the kind of the normal rejoice, reject, redeem, but we are talking about the Super Bowl commercials today. So we're looking at, you know, what were our like favorite commercials, what were some cool moments, what we think was funny, you know, and then we'll still do the redeem at the end too about talking about okay, what are some of these bridge points to the gospel that we think like are within a lot of these commercials today. For me, as a big Chiefs fan, grew up in Kansas City. I've been a Chiefs fan my whole life. I am still just in awe of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I texted my dad tonight.
Mahomie.
Actually, I texted my dad. I was like, "What did we do to deserve Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes?" I was like, "This is a metaphor for God's grace. I did nothing to deserve this, and I am loving every minute of it. And it's like a free gift from God. Like I'm like, thank you. 3 Super Bowl wins, 6 years of Patrick Mahomes starting quarterback. Been to the Super Bowl 4 times. Have 3 wins. Been to the AFC Championship game 6 times in the last 6 years. This is amazing. So all that to say is I was not able to focus on the commercials very much. There were some that I will talk about tonight, but for the most part, I was a bundle of nerves all night.
I can
it's
confirm
not like
this.
I don't know.
It was fun to watch.
It was a pretty boring game. Like it wasn't very like pressure. It wasn't stressful. It was very clear who was going to win, even down to the last minute. Like we knew who was winning.
Okay.
There was a point while we were watching that Connor literally had to stand up and hold the back of a chair for a while.
The entire overtime.
Yeah, he was standing up the whole time.
Look.
No, like right at the very end, he came and sat down.
Look, here's the deal. I knew Kansas City was going to win as soon as the like, what do you call them? They're not narrators. What's their faces? What's their faces? Commentators. As soon as the commentator said nobody comes back from getting what's the term like shut out in the first half, and it's just like, really, you're going to try to tell Kansas City that they can't do something?
Oh my gosh. So I am like on cloud 9 right now. I don't even know what that means, but I'm on it.
You haven't mentioned butt kick though.
I know. Butker, man, hit that. Is the longest field goal now in Super Bowl history.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That's very exciting.
Like 57 yards.
Yeah. And he had some yards to spare too. I feel like they should have just
It was a clean shot too, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am amped right now.
A couple of years, he's going to be like in the in the other 10 yard line, kicking it into the field goal.
Yeah. There was one point in the third quarter when the Chiefs offense was still doing like pretty much nothing. And I had everyone change where they were seated in the room. And you know what? After that point, the Chiefs turned it around.
It's
so
just consequent. That's just
Kansas
coincidence.
City, I don't want to say that that was us and my life group that caused that to happen. But I think we shifted the energy and the vibe.
Oh, of the stadium in
no.
Las Vegas?
No. Of the universe.
In a living room in Kansas?
I reject that, by the way. I reject
Don't get me
myself.
started on that. I will get on my soapbox.
We somehow affected the powers and principalities.
There you
to
go.
help the Chiefs win.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. You know, there's this like they got care of Chiefs won or 49ers won. I don't know. You know, you can do a different conversation. What I'm saying is I'm very happy. I'm very happy, and I rejoice that the Chiefs won again. They did it again, and I can't believe it. Give me that applause again. The applause. Give me the applause. Gosh, this guy's killing my vibe right now.
That's my whole goal.
Don't kill my vibe. I'm on the mountaintop right now. I'm going to get off my mountaintop, though. Somebody else rejoice something from the Super Bowl commercials.
Go sports ball.
Was that a commercial?
No.
Oh, that's what you're bringing?
No, can we just talk about the commercial of the flying migrating football players? Did you see that one?
The Eagles? Yeah. Or no, the Seahawks. The Seahawks.
It was both. Like there was multiple teams that just showed up there. Yeah. It was so good. And then they dropped a football-shaped egg at the end, and they're like, "Oh, look, a new guy."
The State Farm commercial was hilarious with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Like a good neighbor.
It's neighbor.
Neighbor.
Her. As a vocal teacher, I felt the pain. No. You need to go to an I sound when we hit that note, not an E. Not E.
Like a good neighbor.
He's just lucky that the state that he was governor at ended in an ah vowel. California. Just really, it was meant to be.
California.
That was something that I talked about with somebody else. I was like, maybe it was you. I don't remember who I was talking to. How crazy is it that Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of a United States state? That is the most
about as crazy as Kanye running for president
that has ever happened. No, it's like Kanye running for being a governor of a state and winning.
Okay, but but in all fairness, we had that years and years ago before our time. We had it with Ronald Reagan.
That's true.
Fair.
Yeah, but he wasn't like from another country.
That's true.
But yes, I hear you. It's mind blowing. You're like, yeah, that guy was the governor of California one time.
Oh, and then who was it at the end of the commercial?
Danny DeVito.
Yes, thank you.
Like a good neighbor.
It's neighbor.
Can we also talk about the Mountain Dew Baja Blast commercial with Aubrey Plaza coming in like, I'm America's sweetheart.
Have a blast anywhere. You could have a blast anywhere.
And Nick Offerman showing up at the end. Like, no, his mustache is America's sweetheart.
Or is it Chris Pratt now, though? I mean, that Pringles mustache.
So, dude, that was intense. That was a great mustache.
Does he look like the Pringles guy?
I see it.
It's there.
They didn't give him a bow tie.
Oh, that would have really done it.
I also want to rejoice in the Paramount Plus commercial.
Wait, which one?
The main one, like the one with the mountain, and they're trying to get over the mountain. If you the full version of the commercial went online a couple days ago, so like I had already seen it because I'm a huge fan of Mark Tremonti and Alter Bridge and also Creed. So
What?
Mark Tremonti posted a video on Facebook, or he like shared the video of Paramount Plus full advertisement, and there's Creed singing Higher because Creed's going on tour. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's also an exciting time. I would like to go see them, but tickets are expensive.
Yeah.
And dates are limited.
Yep. But they were in that commercial because they were trying to get over the mountain.
Yeah.
Take you higher.
Can you take me higher? So the full version of the song has Patrick Stewart singing a modified verse of it and Hey Arnold singing part of it.
Amazing.
But it's weird. It's surreal that we live in a time where also the part with Master Chief, I will say this is the one only redeeming and good thing about Paramount Plus's Halo series is when he's in the commercial, when Master Chief is in the commercial and he's like, when they're like, how are we going to get over this mountain? And he's like, just pointing to his grapple shot that he can literally just shoot on and like fly up. And it's just like,
Everybody who plays Infinite's like, this is easy.
Yeah.
Why is this a problem?
yeah, exactly.
They're like, instead, we're going to throw this football head at the mountain.
Yeah.
Can we also rejoice in Pluto TV's commercial with the couch potatoes? Like, first of all, serious note, I enjoy at least like the playful, they know how badly we are all addicted to TV to the point that like, oh yeah, we just grow them. You know, we just set the TV out and then they just never leave. Ouch. True, but hurtful.
Yeah.
But it's just so good.
Yeah, I was like, is this a rejoice or a reject? I rejoice that the
Yeah.
commercial is really funny, and then I reject them. Like, oh no, like it's so true. What you're talking
I think
about.
we might reject that American culture is celebrating that now.
Oh.
Yeah, like they're talking about it like it's an okay thing. Because there was the one line in the commercial where the guy says, "TV is easy. America was built on TV, or is built on TV," and it's like. You talk about this like pacifying the entire population is a good thing. But really, it just keeps the people in power and the people in oppression even further down.
Mm-hmm. And us distracted from what's really important.
Yes. But like, there was a couple things. Sorry.
Speaking of distracted from what I was saying about that Creed commercial, it was awesome seeing Mark Tremonti in that and seeing Scott Stapp just together rocking out in that commercial and they're having a good time. But also it's just surreal that we live in a time where you could see the head of the entirety, Arnold. I guess his whole body, but you could see Hey Arnold shifting and flying past the visor of Master Chief while Creed is playing in the background and Mark Tremonti's a couple feet over
and Patrick
Stewart's wearing a rugby uniform. Was that a rugby uniform?
I think it was an old football uniform, a really old football.
Yeah.
So many layers.
It's just a surreal time in history where that's a whole. And then Peppa Pig at the end.
Yeah. We're like, somebody made a pig skin and Peppa Pig's just like, what? What's going on?
I'm in danger.
That's right. I sense danger.
Okay, but there was a couple commercials that like kind of pointed at that like we know something's wrong. Like the Snapchat commercial where they were like, more, there's always more, there's always more. We don't want more. Get rid of more. Less like, more love. Choose Snapchat.
Yeah.
Like at least like they may be playing at it like ironically, but at least they're showing that we know something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's off here.
Yeah. I rejoice in all the commercials that had music in it. There's a lot of like singing in these commercials this year. It was kind of cool. I thought it was engaging.
Solid.
So I was like, there you go, music, represent.
Also, I want to rejoice in a new way to make decisions. Just buy a pack of Oreos. Twist it off.
I got to twist it. Think about it. What they
Pop
say?
it.
Pop it.
Twist it.
No.
Pull it.
Pop it.
Eat it.
Bop it. Aw.
What'd you do?
Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. What was the other one?
Shake it.
Turn it. Whatever. Twist it. Turn it. Pull it. Bop it. Just like smashing an Oreo cookie into your hand.
So next time I can't make up my mind about something,
You're going to smash an Oreo cookie in your hand?
yes, I'm going to smash it.
You're like, well, I don't have an Oreo, so now I can't make up my mind.
Crush it.
Also, did you notice like a lot of the commercials involved aliens?
I said that.
He did
I
say
wrote that.
Yes.
Why?
Dude, the last year that's
why
been super craze.
Why are
like,
people so willing to accept, like they believe in a higher power, but that it's something that is like ridiculous. Like on my side, to go on a small soapbox here, the like belief that we're just in a simulation.
Dude, you have no idea why that is so funny for me to hear you say right now.
Hit me with it.
So I have been going back and rewatching the Game Grumps, with a YouTube channel that I watch a lot. Don't necessarily go watch them. You use discretion if you choose to. But they play video games, and one of the games that they played a couple years ago was one of my favorite games of all time, Chrono Trigger. And while they're doing, and they live streamed it. So I'm watching basically the recordings of the live stream, and they started talking and I listened to this yesterday. I kid you not. They were talking about, like, what if this was all a simulation? And one of the guys was like, man, I'm so sick of that stupid, is this a simulation joke? Can people like not? So it's just hilarious timing that you bring that up right when I'm watching an old video.
Nice. Well, it's just like, why? Like, if it's a simulation, why does it matter if we're in a simulation?
That's what he was saying. Yeah.
Like, and I'll go the next route here, like kind of shift it a little bit. Honestly, it kind of like it's kind of seems like the same idea of just focusing on getting to heaven when we die, because then it makes our entire lives kind of like that simulation. Nothing we do here really matters, and we're just waiting for the next level.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. And so,
can you take me higher?
Yeah, thank you. Full circle.
I think too like the alien craze. We might have to do a podcast on just that in general, because that is something that our culture is very focused on. So, or like it seems to like, I mean, it's always been around. That's always been a major part of like movies and stuff. Is like, oh, even like Independence Day. I think about like old alien movies in general.
Yeah,
but it seems to be like ramped up even more with a lot of what's going on in our culture.
Well, it's so unique, and it's I would use it as a term that C.S. Lewis coined, called chronological snobbery, which is just really fun to say. First, chronological snobbery, the belief that because we are farther in history, that we must be smarter than those before us. So like, how could the Egyptians build the pyramids? We don't know. We can't figure it out. Obviously, they were stupider than us because we're farther along in time and we have more technologies. So clearly we must be smarter. So I guess the pyramids were built by aliens. Because we can't actually take into consideration that, I don't know, maybe people were smart back then, even with less. Because, I don't even remember where I heard this from. I think it was in a different book. I'm not going to mention it, so you don't have to view it in the links. But it was creativity thrives on limits. Like, it needs it. Mm-hmm. And so, like, we can't accept the concept that maybe people before us that had less options and less tools and less technologies can't be smarter than us. Bruh, our attention span right now, on average, is 6 seconds. A goldfish, 8 seconds.
Jordan's just counting to 6.
Yeah, see, now I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. It's been 6 seconds.
What are we talking about? No, another way to say that is recency bias.
I like that.
Yeah.
I just like
I like the way
chronological snobbery.
Yeah, I like that way better. Because you kind of sound
is it also a weird form of ageism?
Oh, snap. Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, it's all kind of related. Yeah, in that I rejoice that there's a new Deadpool movie coming out.
Yes.
And I would definitely encourage everyone to, as Jordan said earlier, use discretion when viewing that. But I'm excited for it.
My guess is we might end up doing it on the podcast. Maybe not. But if we do, that also
I'd have to watch Deadpool 2 first.
I'd have to watch Deadpool 1 and 2.
I will watch it with you.
Great. There we go.
Maximum effort. Okay, we've talked a lot about we will rejoice. Let's go into reject a little bit. Anything that we want to reject based on the stuff around the Super Bowl commercials, that kind of stuff.
I got a bunch of stuff.
Oh, go for it,
also have
Jordan.
a bunch of
We'll
stuff.
clear the
Yes.
Go for a couple of them.
So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the girls' sports body image commercial. Do you remember that one? I saw that and I'm like, there's good in this. There's something that's really good in this, but I think there's also something unspoken about that commercial that can be problematic. Is the only reason we should help prevent young women from developing body image issues so they can play sports.
Oh, like with an agenda in mind.
Because the point that the commercial made was, don't stop them from becoming great and from you know dropping out and stopping doing sports. And I'm like, whoa. You started really well. Like let's not have women have body image issues, but not just so they can do sports. How about we have a more holistic approach for all women? That was my only thing about that specifically. Like,
dude, there was another commercial that I had similar feelings with. It was right after halftime, and it was the story of the kid in other country, like, you know, imagining he's on the football field, and then he gets to the football place, and they're like, it doesn't matter where you're from, as long as it doesn't matter where you were born, as long as you were born to play. That's what the line was. Yeah. I just like same thing you're saying. Like, are you kidding me? You can only follow your dreams as long as it's like filling this agenda. That like now this is your identity. So what if the kid can't play? What if he shows up, grabs a football, and chucks it behind him by accident? Like, I guess you weren't born to play, so get the heck out. Are you kidding me?
Well, you know, that whole thing gets really messy when it's like, I was born to play. How do you know? First of all, how do you know you were born to do something? If you're just because you're really good at it doesn't necessarily mean you were born to do that. And this gets into a huge theological topic about calling and vocation, and like that's a deeper rabbit hole, and really that's a bigger can of worms that we don't need to open right now. But I will say that anytime people start talking about chasing their dreams, like I'm immediately like, we need to time out. We need to pause here, because maybe the culture around following our dreams isn't super helpful. Maybe it's actually more damaging, especially to creatives, than it needs to be.
It's the same problem as the Disney's "When You Wish Upon a Star" idea, concept. All your dreams come true. And so then we start chasing this capitalism Christianity of pursuing God only so we can achieve our own goals and our own dreams. And that's just...
Yeah, God becomes a means to an end rather than being the end himself. Yeah,
well, that's the same thing with like... I've probably mentioned this like in the past couple episodes, but treating sin as a means of like trying to get rid of sin as a means of being perfect. No. That's treating your faith as how long you can go without needing God. So treating sin as like, oh, I can't mess up and I need to be perfect. That's just self-sufficiency. If you want faith as in desperation and needing to be with God, you can't treat it as, well, I need to be perfect. I need to get this dream. God's need to fulfill this thing for me to be able to believe in him and all this other stuff. Like, that's not how it works. It's not our dream. It's his mission. It's his commission. Any dream we have should be to help fulfill that. And if it's not, then you need to adjust your dream.
Yeah, well, I'll agree with that for now. My brain's a little fried on the dream conversation right now.
I think you're right though. It needs to be communicated very uniquely. Like, to break it down of, is this your dream or is this God's call? Like, there is a very, very big difference, and it's treated like they're one and the same.
Again, I don't want to get too deep into the whole dream.
Sorry,
but yeah.
What else you got for us, Jordan?
Also, I reject Reese's with caramel.
What?
You better preach.
I don't like caramel in general.
I'll fight you.
Fine. I don't care. I don't like Reese's with caramel. I'm sorry. I don't like caramel in general. Caramel corn is like the only time I will have caramel and regularly enjoy it. But like anything, like any candy with caramel, I'm not.
You give it to your friend Jacob is what you do.
See, this is a good thing.
So if somebody ever gives you a caramel Reese's, you better float that by me.
Pause. You don't like peanut butter, Jake.
I like it when it's with chocolate. If it's not the main flavor, I'm okay with it.
I was gonna say, like, you give anything peanut butter to me, and I'll give anything caramel to you. Here's the
deal.
Symbiotic relationship.
Yes. Yeah. Here's the deal. If peanut butter is an ingredient, it's okay. If it's the main ingredient, that's too much. So there's
peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
like pad thai with peanuts in it, like delicious. Reese's, delicious. But whenever peanut butter is the main flavor, it's too much. But you're wrong about caramel, so it's fine. I forgive you.
Well, you know what?
Jesus.
You know what, Jake? I've been more wrong to more people than you, and I don't care.
Hold on, I just had to unpack that statement in my head.
I just want you to know, Jacob, you're outvoted 2-1 on this podcast right now.
No.
Here's the deal.
I will put this as a poll in our podcast.
That's fine. I will do that. But
I'm
just telling you, on this podcast right now, 2-1. I love Reese's. Here's the deal. You don't mess with perfection. Okay?
The only perfection is Jesus.
Don't be Icarus. All right? Don't fly too close to the sun, Reese's. Okay? That's all I got to say. I reject the Kung Fu Panda 4 line with the evil bunnies where they said violence makes our tummies tingle. Violence. You remember this?
Catch that.
Yeah, it happened twice. It happened. It was like the first commercial I saw because it was in the pregame.
Dude, that was.
And I was like,
okay.
Why? What?
You know, okay.
What's happening now?
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna take a shot in the dark of what the plot of that movie really is. Those bunny things are actually going to turn out at the very end to be the actual villains, even though he was like, "Oh, these are our friends, and we're trying to help us and stuff." And it's going to turn out that the chameleon thing was actually trying to stop the evil bunny things, and the bunny things are actually the main villain.
That makes sense, dude. I'm with you on that.
If it happens, with you. I'm upset about the predictability.
Yeah. The larger thing about I don't know, celebrating and laughing at violence. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just really uncomfortable for me. Like, I was just like, I reject that. Like, I was like, that's creepy. And I guess it's kind of funny, but I was also I was just kind of like, I just feel really weird about these bunny. Cause like in that moment, that's like the funniest part of that commercial. So they like build up to like that moment.
That's like the climax of the trailer.
Right. And I was like, that's your high point. You know, that's the climax of it.
Is that really what you want to be teaching children?
Right. Plus, I just got like a vibe that they were similar to the characters in South Park, the Canadians in South Park. Either one of you ever seen? No, you're holier than me. You haven't seen South Park.
I'm vaguely aware. I know
with
a
the
couple
heads
of
that like kind of like jump off the body.
I got nothing, dude.
And they're just kind of like chaos. That's what.
Look, comedy in my house was deemed too stupid to watch. Like basically any comedy.
All right, other rejects.
I've got a couple. Can I do my last two?
Yes, please.
Okay, so one, this is the halftime. There's something in the halftime I want to reject. I want to reject the double standards of male performances. We probably shouldn't be okay with Usher removing his shirt if we aren't okay with women removing their shirts.
Even if it's for
name that.
Yeah, even if it's for a quick costume change, that could have been done. Like Swift did it off stage, and she was really quick about it.
Well, and so why does costume changes?
Yeah, but like you don't start undressing while you're singing. We got to that point, and I was like, oh, I thought because it was a male artist that it wasn't going to be sexualized.
I mean, have you listened to Usher's music though?
yeah. I mean, it was predictable, but yes, I just want to name that double standard. Like, I feel like the people who would get really uppity right now about if this had happened with a female artist should also, to be consistent, should be uppity about that.
Yeah.
I just want to name that to be consistent, that that either should be A-okay for the people who are A-okay with it on the other side, and it should be red flags for people who would say that if it were a female being, shirtless would be red flag, or any sexual promiscuity or anything like that. So there was that. And my last thing I want to name and reject, and this one's partially a reject. This one's kind of more just a caution. It's Temu, whatever it's.
Shop like a billionaire. I don't remember the melody.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Their business practices are potentially very unethical. Do your own research. I just very briefly Googling Temu ethicality or something like that. I found what is this? Wiser.eco. Wiser.echo. I don't know.
Economics.
Yeah. Is Temu ethical? Based on recent findings and reports, the direct answer is no. Temu is not an ethical brand. A U.S. congressional report from June 23 has raised significant concerns about Temu's operations. The report underscores an extremely high risk, in quotations, of certain products in Temu being associated with forced labor. Furthermore, the platform does not have a specific policy against sourcing goods from regions like Xinjiang, where there's a substantial evidence of, I probably butchered that, but anyway, where there's substantial evidence of labor exploitation. This lack of transparency and potential association with unethical practices challenges Temu's position as an ethical e-commerce platform. And this is just me Googling very briefly to find out just if I can find if there's anything on it, right? I haven't done a deep dive into this. I don't work at Temu. I don't know, right? I don't have any specific hard proof or evidences that I can personally point to. What I do want to point out is that their prices are usually too good to be true prices, way too low. And you have to ask the question of why. And we need to be really cautious about services like that, and Wish, right? We need to be cautious about services like that. Because even if they are legit and you can get, an Xbox One or something crazy for 99 cents or something silly like that. If things are or clothing for really nice looking clothing or whatever, that's really cheap and great quality. We need to start asking oh, hold up. What's going on? Why is that actually the case? Because, if we do a little bit of digging, it might turn out that there's some really damaging stuff happening to human beings created in God's image.
And at that point, it's it's not worth it.
Right.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
Yeah. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. It's probably not. And even not
except a Chiefs Super Bowl win.
I mean, it's, you got me there. You really did. It's so good. It's so good.
Hey, can we talk about the He Gets Us campaign for a sec?
I mean, if you want to.
Okay. This is probably going to rub some people the wrong way, but I just have a lot of I get very careful when we're trying to communicate church ideas using church language on such a wide platform that is going to talk to potentially millions of people that have never grown up in church. If you've never grown up in church, you've never thought through the stories, you never really had to wonder about the cultural context. Jesus washed feet. Okay. I wash my own feet. I take showers. Why does it matter that Jesus washed feet? So again, these are the people that spent millions of dollars on this ad campaign. So they've probably done the math. They've done the analytics. They've figured out what way they needed to communicate it. I don't know. Or they could have just also just turned a blind eye to everything and said, this is how we're doing it. They're just going to get it because we get it. There's this thing called the curse of knowledge, right? If we know something and we assume somebody else does, it just causes all sorts of problems. So if we need to be careful on how we communicate when we have such a large platform. Their second commercial that they did, because there was two, right? There was the Jesus didn't teach hate he taught how to wash, like he washed feet. There was that one, and there was another one that was like Jesus tells us to love our neighbor. That one was good because it like showed people on the margins of society and like picture, and then showed like that text. Jesus calls us to love our neighbor. Like that one was good because it makes sense a little bit more at least. But like, I just try putting myself in the shoes of someone who has never grown up reading the Bible, who's never heard a sermon, who doesn't understand what it means to wash somebody's feet at that time. Because ain't nobody going around right now washing somebody's feet unless it's at a Christian wedding.
Or an Ash Wednesday service.
But again, church context.
So here's the deal with that whole, because like I have some unsettling feelings about that whole ad campaign too. But as you were talking, I think I just figured something out about both of the commercials. We're assuming, or the assumption is that they're advertising to non-believers.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
Then
I think that entire advertising campaign, at least this year, both of those commercials, I think they were targeted at believers.
Or people who have grown up in the church and left.
Okay. At that point,
Because
I could see how that makes more sense.
Because the second one is like the big hint, right? Because in the second one, it was that loving your neighbor thing, right? And we don't necessarily expect us to be able to say Jesus loved people and Jesus loved loved his neighbor and all of this, and Jesus said to love your neighbor, so you go love your neighbor. Like, we don't expect the broader culture to do that. We expect believers to do that.
Okay, fair.
So I think that is like the hint, like, okay, hold up. Maybe this is targeted at believers. Maybe this is, and if the culture sees it and responds to it and is doing something good with it, then great. Ultimately, I think more people are going to be benefited from the ad campaign as a whole if believers take this as a flag to say, okay, we need to really watch ourselves. We need to like see what we're doing in culture. We need to be out there loving people. We need to love our neighbor. We need to love the marginalized and care for them, and not just like serve them, right? But we need to have a relationship with them and walk with them in their daily lives and let them be a part of our lives.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's way more effective than any $1 million like random advertisement for Jesus is ever going to be.
So that just made me look up their website, and so they had like on their main page, I guess they knew that they were going to be controversial because their main page says we've been accused of pushing our agenda. That's been the point. And then they're like, here, click here to read what our agenda is. So here's their mission statement. Basically, our agenda is to rediscover the love story of Jesus, Christians, non-Christians, and everybody in between, all of us. So that does make a little bit more sense. When it comes to the fact that they are speaking it's such like, this was a global event. This isn't just national anymore. There are people all across the globe watching this. People who probably haven't grown up in a place, or maybe they're just like, the culture of where they're living is just so far away from the teachings of Jesus that it's just not even a common word unless it's a slur. In my head, putting myself, and I can just get overly critical of this stuff sometimes, and I'm willing to admit that. But in my head, I put myself in the shoes of somebody who's like never heard the word of Jesus, and I see he washed their feet. I would say, okay, so what? That's not important. And then all of a sudden now Jesus is like, I had the wording for this during the game. Dang it. Not relevant to anymore, because like, I don't know, like, why would he need to wash my feet? And so it doesn't mean as much.
Yeah. I think I also have a certain level of discomfort with those commercials. So like, I would affirm that thought that you're bringing, and I wouldn't go against it. I think like with those and with other things, so they had this like ridiculous, in my opinion, ridiculous Christmas story movie musical thing that came out this last year that had Lecrae as Gabriel. Did you see a commercial for this? Yeah, so it was like a nativity musical kind of deal.
I want to watch
And
it seemed, based on the trailer, more like a love story between Joseph and Mary than
Interesting.
An actual, like focus on the... Anyways.
It didn't do well.
I didn't see the movie, so I'm not going to be too critical of it. all that to say is with things like this, when there's something out there, you're like, I don't know if I feel great about that thing that's being made. I think about the Mark 9, 38 and 39 disciples tell Jesus, we saw someone driving out demons in your name. We told them to stop because he was not one of us.
Yeah.
And then Jesus says, don't stop him, for no one who does a miracle in my name can the next moment say anything bad about me. For whoever is not against us is for us. Truly, I tell you, anyone who gives you a cup of water in my name, because you belong to the Messiah, will certainly not lose their reward. So it's kind of like God works in all brokenness, my brokenness, your brokenness, all of our brokenness. And so, and even those things that we're like, oh, that's really not great, or I feel weird about that. Yes, we can definitely have concerns about that. Absolutely. And I think God still can use that in a really mighty way. So that's not a great answer. It's just kind of like I
agree with you on that.
I agree with your.
There needs to be a both and, right?
Yep.
So you look at how Jesus did his ministry. Most of his time and attention he gave to the individual. So you have on the small base church, and that's how the church grew exponentially. Was small based communities of people intentionally living life together, and at least a lot of sources I've heard and I've looked into all credit the moment that the Roman Empire declared Christianity as their religion, the start of Christendom, which really started to hamper the grace and the love of Jesus, because then Christianity was now political power. But going back to looking at the teachings of Jesus, Jesus did put a lot of his emphasis on the small church, local church. And I was as you were talking, I was about to just oh yeah, I'm just not comfortable because church seems like it should be more of a local based thing. But you also have the Sermon on the Mount. You have the feeding of the 5,000 and the 4,000 and just people, the crowds gathering. And so Jesus taught them, he spoke to them. And so there was a both and. So I don't know. My uncomfortability is in my brief looking through it, is that there doesn't seem to be a call to the local if they're just talking on the global. There's good ideas, but other than giving to their campaign, what's the local context?
Good question.
So that was part of that was one reject I had. The other one is, and I'm sure we're all thinking about it, is just treating, or maybe this is just something I was thinking about, but in a lot of these ads, it's treating money like it's not like it's just no big deal. You don't have to worry about what you're spending on because you need to go buy this boat. It's only $5 a day. Did you see that?
No.
It was a Bass Pro Shop boat company that was buy our boat. It's only $5 a day. Yeah. First of all, add that up. Second of all, for how many years? And they were
for the rest of your life.
Basically,
Jacob, this could be your boat.
And it's talking about a lot of these things. It just portrays spending money as in that's the thing that gives you credibility. That's the thing that gives you power. That's the thing that will. And this is what commercials do. This is their whole point. That's the thing that will make you feel important, feel valuable, feel seen, feel, whatever it is that you feel like you're missing in your life. Spending your money on this thing is what's going to get you there.
You know what protects people from that? Not having money to spend.
I was about to say not having money, and I was like, I'll let it.
Well, and I don't remember any of the content because again, we're really off script, so I didn't have anything prepared. But there's a lot of research that has been done about the history of ad campaigning, and about not after World War II, somewhere in between the 50s and the 90s, they basically just started shifting the advertisement from look at how good this product is. It's really good quality. Come buy our product. It'll be good quality stuff. And they shifted it to, you can't live without our product. This will make you happy. This will fulfill you in life. And it just leaves people confused, right? You look at the car commercials where it's the friends just jamming out in the car. They're singing, they're joking, they're laughing, they're having a great time. And what they're trying to sell is, if you buy our car, you'll have healthy friendships. You'll have life. And so, okay, cool. I need life. I need more friends because, you guys are two of my only friends. But I buy this car. I still don't have it. And so it's selling something that's just not possible. And that's I love these Super Bowl commercials. They're hilarious. They do amazing things, like hilarious things, migrating flying football players. Yes, I want more of this. However, it's always going to be the premise of it is just you need what we have. This will complete you. And that's the completion we will find is through growing in our relationship with Jesus and knowing him as he knows us.
Yeah. I want to, I forgot to rejoice this. I want to rejoice
We're not gonna rejoice
Ludacris's
anymore.
afro. No, it's going to set up the reject. I'm going to rejoice Ludacris afro. The guy that came on, he was part of the halftime show. Ludacris.
Which one?
What?
That wasn't Usher's show. It was Usher and every artist that
He
would
was the
hit
guy
big
with the
him.
giant afro. It was excellent. And I want to reject his whole verse. It's so well written, but it is awful. If you read the content of what's that? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing they were promoting the whole week. If you read the lyrics to his that verse that Ludacris brings, it's bad. So I reject that verse, but it is. I mean, it's so good and it's so bad. It's like one of those.
I know who you're talking about, Jordan. You don't need to pull it up.
He's in all the Fast and Furious movies.
I haven't seen a single one.
Well, not all of them, but most of them.
I was
haven't
pulling
seen
up
a single one.
I was pulling up the title of the song.
Yeah.
It's literally just yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That one.
I'm surprised it's called Yeah. Did Little John feature in that song?
Yeah.
Yes.
What? Okay.
All right, let's go on to redeem. What do we redeem? Again, the points of the commercials are loosely related to the Super Bowl that we want to say this is a bridge point to the gospel.
I want to rejoice, or I want to redeem, not rejoice. Well, rejoice a little bit too. I want to redeem the very first legitimately good use of AI that I've seen to this point.
Oh, the Despicable Me commercial?
No.
Oh, that was perfect.
No. Google AI being used to help the blind.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing.
Like that is creativity, ingenuity, and like just humanity creating this new technology, right? That's it being used for like some of the highest good to like actually re-enable people to have quality of life, right? Even if it seems like something small or something, if it seems like something minor, like being able to take selfies, but to be able to like bring functionality back into someone's life, to bring in a sense a form of healing, I think, which it isn't really healing because, there's also something to be said about relying on the technology and this and that. But I just want to say that, like, out of all the uses that I've seen of AI, and even just how AI has, like, especially when you're talking about like AI art or AI, anything creative in AI, there's usually a lot of really sketchy and really underhanded and really unhelpful things that go along with those things. But I think this is a really beautiful use of AI. And like when we're talking about like seeing God's work in pop culture, like there's God working in technology, right? And being able to hopefully bring the healing and restoration of his kingdom into people's lives through something like AI.
Yeah. I was talking about that commercial with somebody from our church, and I'm going to shout out her because it's also going to bug her son that she got shouted out first. But I was talking to this with my friend Rebecca, and how she had heard about that feature on the new phone before. And her immediate thought was like, well, who would want that? That's such a stupid feature. And then she saw this commercial, and she said it brought tears to her eyes to see like, oh, that's what that could do. And like for me, being able to see that issue, right? Because it's so hard these days to be able to put yourself into the empathetically into the impairments of others, of knowing like, because it's so easy, like, well, I don't struggle with this. Who would ever need this? To then actually think about, oh, well, this person might need it.
You know what helps to like think about those things more?
What's that?
Anytime you're
Jesus?
using, well, yes, but go into your phone settings, and anytime you're looking for those features, you know where you find them usually? Accessibility.
I love the accessibility features on the iPhone.
The accessibility features are meant to make the device more accessible to people who don't have access to one thing or another, right? So like, I mean, even like, you know, I sometimes like if I have a pair of earbuds, right, and one of those earbuds goes out, and I want to listen to music, and I'm like desperate, and I don't want to, you know, fiddle with anything, or if I don't want to like go buy a pair of headphones at that moment, I'll switch my audio from stereo to mono, so I at least get all of the audio in one ear. And it's like, great, I love that accessibility feature. But somebody who's deaf in one ear,
that's all they get.
Like that little convenience for me is a game changer for someone else.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think like there's a lot of those things in technology where it's like, oh, like God's kingdom is breaking into the world through these things.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Whether or not they realize that that's why they're doing it. Like, because the moment that it seemed like a really cool feature to me, like just watching it, like, oh yeah, this is really neat. Like they would love, like that's a really cool feature for somebody who needs it. And then there was the moment where it did the 3-face recognition, and it was like, oh, because it's their newly born child. It's like, oh no, this isn't just a feature. This is a necessity for this person to be able to capture that moment. Like whether or not the creators of that feature realize it, they just gave somebody the ability to capture the moment of the birth of their child. And that's something that I think God rejoices in.
All right, Jacob, you're redeemed.
No, I was actually going to let you go first because I've been talking a lot.
I know. That's why I wanted you to do it.
Aw, I don't like talking.
Probably shouldn't be doing a podcast.
Yeah, I was
there,
about to say.
friendo.
I was like, okay.
Plus, mine's more of an overarching thing.
Go for it.
Which I felt was going to end the show well, but it's fine.
All right, I'll go.
next.
I'll go.
Yay, I guilt tripped you into getting me what I want.
It's fine. I want to redeem by recognizing what commercials tell us that we want or what we need, and recognizing what those things are, and recognizing that the things that they offer ultimately won't satisfy what you really want and what you really need. So, you know, you think about all these different commercials, right? We see a movie about shopping, or like the Etsy and Temu, right? Telling you, oh, you got this thing, you know, then you'd be happy, or then you'd be happy, or then you'd have style, and then you'd have friends, or like more friends, or you could have like a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you know, then, and you know, like all these promises that the commercials are kind of like weaving into there. You know, you never see a beer commercial where people are sad. You know, like people are always happy. They're always having a good time. There's never any mistakes made or any regrets the next day when it's the Coors Light commercial and the train comes chugging through your living room.
They don't show people getting drunk.
And you're like, how are you going to repair that wall? And they're like, it's fine. We're playing the Coors Light theme, you know? So anyways, just recognizing what commercials, advertisements, what the world tells us we want, right? And that this thing is going to satisfy what you ultimately want. And recognizing that it's not going to satisfy. Like it might for a day. You might, you know, you buy a new car first week, might be a really awesome first week of riding around that thing, get the new infotainment system, and maybe you got a great sound system, or it goes really fast, or it's just sleek, you know, comfortable chairs. Maybe you're going real luxury and you got the heated seats. Man, I would kill for
Dude,
some
let me tell you.
heated seats some point. But yeah, like that. But then you get used to it. And then all of a sudden you need that next thing that's going to provide you, you know, the thrill or the happiness that you had before. And so just recognize that when we are consuming things and we're chasing after things and we're wanting to buy that next thing, that maybe that'll fill the emptiness that's inside of us a little bit, that space will only be filled by Jesus. Like he's the only one that will, and it will hopefully be filled as well by the family of believers, by the community around you, by friends and family and deep, meaningful relationships. It's not money, right? Shopping like you're a billionaire. Guess what?
You're not.
You might be a billionaire, but that's not going to make you any happier. like it's not going to have any, or it's not going to have, you're not going to feel any more fulfilled or any more on mission for anything if it's just so that you can have more money, so you have more things, so that you can live a more comfortable life, so then you can have more money and more things, more comfortable life, and you're just like, oh, that stuff doesn't actually satisfy.
Dude, there was an NFL player a couple of years ago. I don't remember who it was for the life of me. This is maybe like 10 years ago. Like they had just won the Super Bowl. They had won like 10 Super Bowls, and somebody interviewing them was asking them how many Super Bowls titles is enough, and his answer was just one more.
Yeah. Well, they asked Tom Brady once what's his favorite Super Bowl ring, and he always answered the next one, which I actually thought was a pretty clever answer. But yeah. So just that's like where you read in Scripture about contentment, right? Like be content, practice contentment, thanksgiving, rejoice what you've been given, invest in the relationships. You didn't see the apostles like going after worldly things. They were like, I count all that stuff as loss compared to knowing Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. And so we can oftentimes be reminded of those things, and we can connect with culture, because guess what? People, and I'm guilty of this too, we're always on this treadmill of like the next thing and like one next thing. And eventually we realize those things that we've been chasing aren't providing what we really want and need. And we have like the message of good news. We have the message of the gospel. We know Jesus, and we can share him with people.
Yeah.
And that will ultimately satisfy. So that's my like big takeaway. It wasn't out of like a single commercial, but just in general, that's the gospel. So
yeah,
there it is. Whoop, there it is.
I distinctly remember, and I don't even remember who or even which Super Bowl it was. I feel like it was, I want to say it was Tom Brady, after winning his fifth Super Bowl or something. And he was asked some question, and his response was something like, "What else is there?" And he just had this like, or how does it feel to when you're, and like he just the whole thing seemed really empty to him,
unsatisfying.
Like it was no longer a big deal to him. Like it was just.
I mean, when you win as much as he has, I guess winning does kind of lose its meaning, because it's like, I wonder if maybe sometimes he wants to feel what it's like to actually lose.
Yeah.
So,
all right, bring us home, Jacob.
Yeah. So I guess I want to end with a challenge. Because I was thinking, like, dude, you got to consider how much money people pay just to get a 10-second ad on the air for the Super Bowl. And they put all of this time and effort. They get the biggest names, like the Michael Cera commercial, which was amazing.
I forgot. That was my other rejoice that I could get to my notes. That was a great commercial.
Amazing.
Great commercial.
Okay, but like, so Lizzie filled me in afterwards, after we saw that commercial, of like how there was actually confusion in the Las Vegas area of like people thought that it was his cream. And so that Super Bowl commercial was basically answering the question of, is this his or not? It was beautiful. Anyways, but like people are spending all of the money, putting all of their effort into 10 seconds of airtime. And it just makes me think of the question of, what are you willing to do if you know you have people's attention? Right? If you know that the whole world is watching, or just the person sitting across the table from you, what are you willing to do? And so that immediately makes me think of 1 Peter 3, right? Which people always quote the first half, but then they skip the second, which is, if someone asks about your hope as a believer, always be ready to explain it. Or other translations say, be ready to give a defense for your faith. And people just stop it there. And so they just go big or go home. Like, I'm going to pick up my sword of the Spirit and stab you straight through with it.
Yeah.
But they forget the second half, where he says in verse 16, but do this in a gentle and respectful way. Your conscience is clear. Then if people speak against you, they will be ashamed when they see what a good life you live because you belong to Christ. Are you willing to put down your weapons the same way that Jesus did, and be willing to die There's a in C.S. Lewis Screw Tape Letters that he talks about this a little bit about what if the thing that is frustrating you, what if your anxieties and your worries today are just the cross you are called to bear. And so to go back with that question, what are you willing to do if you know you have someone's attention? Are you willing to love them even when they're rude? Are you willing to treat them like they bear the image of God? And are you willing to not only give a defense for what you believe with your words, but with your actions and with your integrity and with, most importantly, your love?
Yeah. It's important.
It's the calling we were given.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't say you will know, people will know that you follow me by your aggressive defense for the things I taught you. They won't know that you follow me because of the size of your megachurch or the size of your LED wall, which ours is big. They won't know you by how much you fight people and devalue others that disagree with you. What will they know that we follow him for? Our love.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's an old theologian that says that God is simply loving. He is the embodiment of love, and he loves.
Yeah.
What other calling is there for us? Yes, there's aggression, but it's always in defense for God's creation, which includes the people he made, even if they're walking away from him.
Yeah.
So I wanted just to end that on a challenge. When we have people's attention, which we do if we claim to follow Jesus, which I would argue is different than just being a Christian. There is now a huge difference between just being a Christian and actually following Jesus. I will not get on my soapbox. But when we tell people that we follow Jesus, they will be, especially in this culture, even more critical of our integrity and our actions and our words. We have people's attention. What are you willing to do with it?
Yeah. But Jacob, Travis Kelce told me via the Beastie Boys that you gotta fight for your right to party.
I don't think those
Are you
dudes
saying
were-
that's not biblical?
I don't think they were following Jesus when they wrote that song.
Oh, you're definitely right about that. Because if you listen to the verses on that song, you're like, oh boy. There was like a hot second where I thought for a second, I was like, you know what? This morning, since it's Sunday, right? This morning at church after the service is over, the first song out of the gate is just going to be like the chorus of "You Gotta Fight."
And then you looked up the rest of the song.
Yeah, then I listened to the rest of the song and I was like, yeah, I definitely can't play that in church. So you're welcome, countryside. I used discernment. And decided that would definitely not be a good idea, which is a good call. But I think that's a good place to wrap it up, I think.
Yeah.
This is good. I mean, I'm amped. I'm going to feel great all this week. So I just get to listen to all the sports podcasts now, talk about how awesome the Chiefs were, and how wrong everybody else was about everything. Listen, all right, never a doubt.
You do know that
doubt.
Travis Kelce has his own podcast, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I listen to it all the time.
That episode's going to be phenomenal.
It's going to be fire. Fire.
I got sent a clip of Travis and his brother trying to harmonize, and it made my day.
Yes. They're actually pretty good singers. Jason Kelce, the Eagles offensive line, have you heard this? Released a Christmas album this year. It's actually pretty good.
Can we also talk about Jason Momoa and his little solo we got?
With the guy from Scrubs? With the guys from Scrubs? It was very good.
It was definitely pitch corrected.
So much auto-tune.
So much auto-tune.
So let's end on a high note, Jake.
Take you higher. Follow us on everywhere. Spotify,
YouTube,
that place,
Audible,
that place,
Instagram,
that place,
Facebook,
that place, Apple Podcasts, that place,
Bonfire, which is where you can get our merch, which you should definitely buy all of our merch. You should buy one of everything in every color because the bold yellow looks amazing.
Yeah. And for real, the thing that helps us the most, right, as we think about this podcast and mention this podcast and spreading the good news is follow and then share. Share with your friends. Leave a review, like something that's like that next level.
Yep.
Would really help us.
Leaving a review will affect how visible we are in other people's feeds. Like, I know that Spotify, I don't think you can leave like a word review, but if you just rate the show, it will help us be more visible for other people. So if you believe in our mission, if you like what we do, if you think we're just the nice little medium point between ridiculous and serious, please give us a rating.
Listen, if you're amped that the Chiefs won, smash that subscribe button, as they say on YouTube. Smash it. Smash
in
it.
the face.
All right, I think that's a good spot to end. So tune in next week. We're doing Oppenheimer next week. We have a guest on the show. Very exciting. And until next time, remember, God is working, even in Super Bowl commercials. What? We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Good night.
Get love, nerd.